Have you asked yourself this question? Who am I as a creator? I believe that when you know who you are as a creator, it'll influence and direct you how you should be creating. And with all the various different ways you could show up online, there's actually a way for you. So on this episode of The Department, we're gonna be talking about all the various content formats and which one would suit you best. Welcome to The Department. It's Omar and I have with me art.mp4. Let's go. And I think this is a very important episode because one of the biggest things that come to mind when people get into creating content is that it has to be done this way. It has to be done that way. And so, like if somebody, I know this is intense right out of the gate.
What?
If I put a knife to your throat,
Okay.
and I said, create a video, what kind of video are you going to create?
Ooh, I think a vlog. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
And why is that?
A daily vlog could just be an easy thing to do. Like you just film small moments throughout your day and there's a video. You just stitch them together chronologically and it's done.
Which I unpacking your train of thought is you went to what you think was the easiest way.
Yes.
Not the way that you believe you would either enjoy the most.
Sure.
Or the way that you would shine the most.
Okay, well, I guess that was because I had a knife to my throat.
I know, but I know that was an intense example. So let's break this down. You know, I have consolidated all of kinds of content, and there's so much more than this, but I think the ones that really matter down to 5 kinds of content. Now, before I say that, this is kind of like Mexican food. Do you like Mexican food, Art?
Oh, no.
Do you like Mexican food?
Yes, I like Mexican food.
Who doesn't like Mexican food?
My girlfriend.
Okay, she's tripping. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Tiki. But it's kind of like Mexican food. And why do I say that? Because all Mexican food is the same.
This is
and everybody just got offended who chooses to walk in
That is a
fence.
wild statement, though.
All Mexican food is the same.
At Taco Bell, but nowhere else.
No, it doesn't matter. Okay, how can I say this? Okay, whether you order a taco,
Okay.
a burrito, an enchilada, even a quesadilla, because it comes on the side, rice and beans on the side. Like, they all are comprised of the same ingredients. They're just packaged a different way.
Sure.
All Mexican food's the same.
Sure, I'll let you have that.
Okay, and so in the same way, content formats are less important because the ingredients that make up the video is what's most important. This is what I call content value. The content value is more important than the format. And in my journey of creating content over these last however many years, I have made the same kind of video in different content formats. And me doing this has allowed me to learn myself as a creator and how I actually prefer to show up. And sometimes my preference comes from a place of enjoyment. And so I love video podcasting because it makes me shine better than when when I shoot talking head videos, it's rough, bro. Like,
yeah, it's bad.
It's bad. Okay, I wouldn't say bad, but like I've gotten pretty far with talking head, but I mean like there isn't as much as a grace. Like,
no, sure. It just takes, it takes a while.
It takes a while, right? And I'm just not the script kind of guy. I'm not the, so I say all that to say, I think it's very important to decide which way you desire to show up based on which one you would enjoy most and connect with your audience most. But sometimes if you're attracted to a certain kind of format, chances are is you might be a good creator using that kind of format. So let's break down, I'm going to first say the formats and then we're going to go into each of them, talk about how they can be done easily, and then the pros and cons of each. And then audience, department fam, you guys get to decide which one you want to do, you know?
Wait, so you would say you're attracted to podcasts
100
out of all the formats?
I would say yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would. But I'm also attracted to content in general. I mean, I study content for a living for you guys. But
okay.
But that's also, by the way, this is really cool, dude. You know, Bryson DeChambeau.
Yes.
He had a very Mr. Beast kind video. Starts the video. I'm giving away $150,000 to 10 random people. And then it goes right into the first one. If this guy makes his putt, I give him $1,000 and it's like a 2-foot putt. Boom.
Oh, I need to watch that video.
It ends the video and I'm going to give it away.
No,
Spoiler alert.
No.
Come on.
Dang it. Okay, what?
Bro, the last person, if you make, he gave him 7 or 8 hours to make the ball shot over his house. You know the one that he tried over and over?
Oh, okay. So it's the chip over the house.
Yes, it's 96 yards or something like that over the house.
Oh, no.
If he makes it $100,000.
But he had 8 hours to do it?
8 hours to do it.
And he didn't do it?
He did it in 5.
Dang.
Not 5 hours, 5 tries.
Oh, snap.
Dude, it was like, I literally was laughing out loud in my house because I was like, what is happening? This is insane. Anyway.
Dude, they expected to have like hours of footage and he just
100.
crushed it.
Yeah.
Was it like a professional golfer or was it just some average Joe?
Probably just like a decent golfer guy.
Dang, that's wild.
Okay.
Anyway.
Here we go. Content formats. There are 5 of them. We're going to focus on 4 of them. So we have live streaming. We have vlogging. We have talking head, video podcast, and faceless. Live streaming, vlogging, talking head, video podcast, and faceless. Now, I know there's so many other ones, but they kind of fall into one of these categories. And this is also an emphasis for people that want to make money online. Like, I mean, you want to get your expertise out there. You know, you're not going to do that with gamification or, you know, you're not going to do that with entertainment style stuff, even though some of these can be entertaining. So these are the 5. We're going to focus on live streaming, vlogging, talking head, and video podcasts. But with that being said, let's start with live streaming because I believe live streaming is the lowest barrier of entry when it comes to content creation. And it's because you can start with your phone and nothing else. Tell me what you know about live streaming.
It's intimidating when like someone looks at live streaming because it's, what do I need to live stream? You know, especially when you look at Twitch streamers and then.
Yeah, the goal isn't to see who's doing all this stuff at the highest level, but for sure, I see how you can like, your mind naturally goes to like, yeah, these people that have made like loads of money. And
wait, lowest barrier of entry, like how? Like what
as
do you
in,
mean?
Bro.
Like it's the easiest to do, like
yes,
to accomplish?
the easiest to do. You go log in, you hit go live, and now you're in real time uploading a video.
Okay, sure.
And so, and this is for any platform, but like, I guess we could say for YouTube, there might be a threshold. I guess that was my fault. I haven't done like the work. I believe you can if you just verify live stream threshold YouTube. I believe you can just do it with an account. Just make sure you verify it. Yeah, if you use even something like a StreamYard, but the goal is to just use the platform. You can use YouTube to live stream directly in. Did it last night for our church.
Right.
Did a live prayer and just punched in, and it tells you to like take a photo for your thumbnail and then you can go live. But the reason why it's a low barrier of entry is really because like it's like your phone becomes the camera, the computer, the microphone. Like you can build with live.
But I will say it's probably intimidating still though, because it's like you're live.
Creating videos is intimidating, period.
Sure. But like versus like a vlog.
Well, because like, now intimidation is oftentimes just fear in fear that's not actualized.
Okay.
Like, right? Like the reason why other forms of content creation isn't as intimidating is probably because you have in mind that you can edit out mistakes. That's why.
Okay.
But I'm saying, forget the mistakes. The reps matter more than the mistakes in this season, right? Especially if you're starting out. And so with live streaming, just being able, like, for me, I always want to tell people that, like, you don't have to edit your videos. How about you just get better at talking and then let the videos take care of themselves? So just let the live stream be a you. And I would actually say, if you are an expert, if you're really good at what you do, then live stream is phenomenal because people know you're not hiding, you're not faking, it's just you. And even the quirkiness, like the things that you probably think that you don't like about yourself, or maybe you're like, shoot, man, I stumbled over my words right there. those are the things that's only going to create more of a connection and draw to you.
So it's just be yourself.
Just be yourself. Now, I'll talk about my live streaming format that like will be how to create effective live streams. But I love live streaming because number one, when you're done, you're done. There's no editing. It's like if your issue is if you're having a hard time uploading consistently, if you can just block out time to live stream, boom, like you got your upload for the week. And I love, even he's on his way, but Michael Zuber, who's been on the podcast, he's built like a gnarly following on YouTube, going live every day, 5 times a week on his phone. And he's years down the line and he's still doing it.
He's at like 30,000 videos or something?
It was like 13 or 14,000.
Oh, okay. Still a lot.
Yeah, and he's getting like 3,000 to 5,000 views a day, and they're all hopping on at the time, which is cool, which poses the other benefit of live streaming. What's another benefit of live streaming? The ability to make quickly. So like you can react to something happening in your industry or in the culture or whatever, how you want to connect that to what it is you do, and you can do it quickly. My mind always goes to like real estate examples because I help a lot of real estate people, but just like if anything happens, interest rates, go live, dropped, whatever, go live. I remember in my context, camera specs on a new camera, boom, go live. Like you don't have, like you can leverage what is called trend surfing with live streaming.
I remember you did one. You did a live stream on the Sony A1.
Right.
When it dropped.
Yeah, I had an article.
And didn't it go
it did really well.
Yeah.
I got a few thousand, a handful. I mean, I think I think I did like, I don't know. Like on the stream itself was a few thousand, which is really cool on my personal channel. Yeah. And it like if I had to shoot that video and then edit it and then export it and then upload it.
Yeah, you're already behind.
You're already behind. And so live streaming, you're leveraging the information that you're giving rather than the production quality per se. Now you can actually have a simple, clean, crispy live stream setup. I believe if you have just like a great, newer Sony camera, like here, I'm just going to say it. And if this throws you off, don't worry about it. I'll just put links in the description, make a note. Sony FX30 with the top handle. It's about $1,800 to $2,100. Sigma 16 millimeter lens. I like you can get a Shure XLR mic, which the ones that I use, they're like 140. Plug directly into the camera. You get a USB cable and you plug your camera into your computer or laptop and you have a video and audio feed, and then you can just go live and it'll look like a YouTube video. Like people will be like, what? This is live? So congratulations. You just leveled up your live stream. But here, I just wanted to break down my live stream format because I think people are under the misconception that like no one's going to show up on my live. Who knows? Who cares? Well, if no one shows up on your live, deliver anyway. It's good for you. Like it's good for you to get the reps in, to talk as if people are on the live. Like that's just a great practice. Like doesn't matter, no matter who's in the room. I'll do this if no one shows up, or I'll do this if one person shows up. I'ma still do this. That attitude is the attitude of the greats. We just see the greats where they are now, but there was a time where they were showing up for very few to little to no people, right? They were performing in front of a mirror. And so here's what I'll say about how to have effective live streams. Number one is preparation. You shouldn't just go live and then think something's going to happen. Like prepare in advance what you want to talk about on your live stream. Plan in advance what you want to talk about in your live stream and create some level of bullet points, right? So that's like number one, just have a focus of the live stream, whether it's breaking down something, talking about a book you read, talking about something you did, talking about something that's coming, like just break it down and make it digestible for people to consume. The next biggest tip I can tell somebody who wants to try and live stream is to prioritize the replay value over the live value. What do I mean by that? When you go live, don't hang out for 3 minutes saying, all right, we're just going to let people come in. Let us know where you're watching from. Cool. Yeah. Because like, what are you doing when that video gets posted once you're done with the live? Now, when somebody clicks that video, you've completely lost all authority. You've lost all credibility. Everything you need for people to watch, you've actually just ruined. So when you go live, don't act like it's live. Like, start strong is what I'd say. So I like to say, start with a hook, start with a question, start with a qualifying question. I like even starting the podcast like that. So what's happening? XYZ 1 2 3. Have you ever thought to yourself, maybe you're considering, like, if you start like that, you're actually drawing people in because they are thinking to themselves something like that. So
you actually did that for one of your coach calls.
Yeah, I mean, even when I'm teaching on a coach call, because I know that's going to be cut, I want to make sure I start strong.
Yeah.
So that when somebody watches it, they're not like, oh my gosh, I had a coach call. Like,
right.
Got to zip through all these wins and all that stuff. Like, so yeah, I'm always thinking about this. And this, maybe the word is extreme, but I'm obsessed with this stuff. Like, I'm obsessed with considering how people are going to consume the content. And yes, I know it's valuable, but just valuable information doesn't get distributed and it doesn't get received well.
Did your obsession about how someone consumes come from your perspective of being a consumer at one point? Like, at one point you were a consumer and you were noticing all these things that were frustrating.
We're all consumers.
Right. So now you're like leading from that place.
Sure. I mean, I'm always consuming. I'm always in the best way possible. I'm always judging, right? Because that's another word for consuming, right? It's just like, as I take in, I process. That's what, like, consumption. And so when I click on something that is packaged a certain way and it doesn't deliver, it communicates so much more than what the content is. It shows that you either don't know what you're doing. It shows that you tried and tricked me. It shows that you don't even know what you're talking about if you don't even know how to package this correctly. It shows a lot of those things.
So your obsession comes from the things that you wish you saw happen.
That's 100. And it's just knowing that every time somebody clicks on a piece of content of mine, it is an opportunity to win you so that you can watch the next one. And if just one, I saw a short the other day. I don't know what city it was, but it was actually a pretty building, a demolishing of a pretty building, like all glass. And it was like, boom, in like 2 seconds, it was gone. And I was just like, how long did that take to build? But it literally can be taken down in just a second.
Okay.
And it's the same. There's a saying about reputation. It takes 5 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. And I believe it takes honestly years to build I guess what's the word I'm trying to find? Like, it takes years to build a unbeatable brand, and it takes one piece of content to ruin it. I lead with that. I think with that. And so I just want people, like, if you're getting in a live stream, just if it says 3, 2, 1, you're live. So what do you think about the home market? I'm always going there. I hate it. So you ever wondered how pasteurized eggs versus non-pasteurized eggs? I don't know, whatever it may be, just start with the thing very clear. Okay. So, and this is because you're prioritizing the replay value. Now, if you build some sort of an audience that is there live, I don't think it's a bad idea to address them, especially if people ask questions in the chat, because when people ask questions on a live and you answer them really well, what actually happens is it makes that video even more bulletproof. Because now, like, somebody who was watching it probably thought that question, but because somebody was there live able to ask it, and then you were able to answer it. So I'm not saying disregard everyone who is, watching with you live, or disregard the live completely. You could even say, start with the hook, then, if people are on the live, be like, I just want to shout out to everybody on the live. Dang, people watching from all over. Let's get into this first thing. And then get into it. And then I also like acknowledging the people who are watching the replay. You could also say, if you're watching this on the replay, put in the comments, replay fam. And people do it because it's like you're speaking directly to them. But that's all premeditated, right? And then you can also say, yeah, by the way, if you ever want to be on the live, you can ask questions live as I deliver. And all I'm saying, and I know we're like hanging on this live stream thing, we'll move on in just a sec, is it's just a beautiful way to create because you can go live and then, I always talk about export the audio. You can actually get the audio from that live stream and now you have a podcast, an audio podcast. Because most of the time lives don't require like a visual thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into technicalities, but yes, you can live directly using YouTube without having to use a third-party software. But you can also use something like a StreamYard.com, which will, if you want some branding there, you can do that or whatever, share screen. You can use Loom. Like, I think you could live stream using Loom, I believe. You can live stream using Zoom. Like Zoom, you could punch in to Facebook and YouTube and things like that, if I'm not mistaken. So live streaming, a powerful, beautiful content format. Myron's most viewed content, his most uploaded content is actually live streams. Because he prepares, he hyper prepares, but most people watch it once it's uploaded. So you still want to prioritize the packaging of your live stream, the title, the thumbnail, the first 30 seconds. But then the way you deliver, just deliver it. People are going to fall in love with you if you do this really well. Any thoughts on live streaming as we...
No, that was great.
Hey, Department fam, wanted to take a brief break from this conversation. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is that, did you know that 75% of the people that watch this podcast on YouTube actually aren't subscribed, which is a high chance that you're not subscribed. So number one, I want to say thank you for listening or watching the podcast. And number two, if you can hit that subscribe button, that would be amazing. The second thing is, if you are an entrepreneur, content creator, or somebody looking to make money online, I want to encourage you to come to this online event called the Content to Cash Challenge. This is a special 5-day event that's going to give you access to the system I use in my business to make multiple 6 figures with my content. If you've been desiring to either get your business and brand more exposure, grow a YouTube channel, whatever it is when it comes to video, I would encourage you to jump into the Content to Cash Challenge. We'll be sure to post the link to the challenge down in the show notes or the description. And I want to encourage you to jump into the VIP experience. This will give you access to a 1-hour Q&A call every day of the challenge. This will guarantee myself to answer a personalized question you may have. So I'll see you on the Content to Cash Challenge. Now let's jump back into the conversation. The next one is vlogging. I want to talk about what vlogging isn't, because at one point, even as you mentioned in the beginning of this episode, you mentioned, yeah, just, capturing my day and documenting my day. I actually, if we're talking effective vlogging, all I'm saying is, instead of doing a live stream, you would still deliver it in a vlog. Okay. So here's what vlogging isn't. Vlogging isn't making random documented content. Like, we just watched a video on YouTube yesterday of a CEO in Las Vegas, day in the life. It's like, nobody cares about you, bro. Nobody knows you. You have no brand. Like, it's fine. And I don't know. I mean, it showed up on my feed because I'm probably in Vegas, but no hate or shade, but I know where he's coming from. If I just show people my life, then it's going to build my brand. No. If you give people value and if you give people what they want and what they're looking for, it will build your brand. So yeah, I mean, I say that to say vlogging is great because in so many ways you can treat it like a live stream and you can create a vlog that has very minimal, little to no edits. And the reason why I enjoyed vlogging even later on after, as I was creating content with Think Media, was because it allowed me to just create the video chronologically. So like, anytime you can film content chronologically, it's easier to edit. You're just cutting out the fluff, really. And so vlogging is simply delivering information to a camera,
but just in different places.
Yeah. That's how I would put it. Without any fancy equipment. Like, could you have a cool camera? You can, but like, it's not about the light. It's not about the mic. You do want good audio. Like, you don't want it to be, distracting, but you can deliver whatever that information is. Somebody I think about is, shout out to Levi, living in Dallas. So he could sit at a desk and make content about a neighborhood, or he can get up from the desk, go to the neighborhood and make content in the neighborhood and say, so this is Frisco, Texas, and this is their newest construction. It's going to be luxury high rises. They're going to build 2 right here. What's cool about vlogging is because, the goal is attention here. And because things are always moving, trees are blowing, cars are passing, hands are moving, like things are happening. There is a constant re-engagement that takes place when you vlog. When you change locations, another re-engagement. Sometimes if you're holding the camera up, there's a little bit of shake, and something about that creates a level of like intimacy with a viewer that, is actually beneficial. So
yeah,
I find it could be more effective because showing and telling is more effective. And it also could be more effective because you're not too worried about the actual equipment. Like, I just think sometimes if you're in it for the production side of things, man, this is, what's intimidating, I find with most people, is just the light, the mic arm.
Oh, like, for sure. This stuff was very intimidating to sit down.
Yeah. Like, so if we removed it and there was and we were just vlogging, it's just
definitely more casual.
Yeah, more casual.
Yeah.
But you can create very high valuable vlogs if you just, again, come with a preparation, maybe an outline, and then just go. Now, dude, I've been noticing a form of vlogging that's been just absolutely popping off are these people who are just like going out in a walk, and they've got either like their DJI little Osmo vlogging camera or their phone, and they're using like their wide angle lens, and they're literally just talking for 18 minutes. Not randomly. They're talking about one thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think the one that comes to mind is like, and I have something along the lines of like how God made me rich or something like that. It was like,
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it just hit my feed, and then I'm going and I'm like, dang, this was shot on a fairly inexpensive camera, and then I'm just seeing more of it. And this is where I mentioned I believe in the last thing we talked about, last podcast, about conviction-based content, that like live streaming and vlogging, like if you feel a conviction, like just take out your phone and just like deliver. And so that's what I would say. Like, vlogging is great for that. If you're somebody who loves movement, I'm not the biggest fan of like walking and creating.
Okay.
I'd rather you plop the camera down, just be outside and just talk to the camera.
Why do you
find
say
a new
that?
location? Because not all cameras have in-body image stabilization, IBIS.
Okay.
Phones do pretty well. If you're using a GoPro, it does pretty well. But it's just, I don't know. Sometimes if it's messing with the shot, it's not the viewing experience. This is why it comes from that place. So when I made, like, let's take a video idea that I've done in every content format, and that is best camera for YouTube. When I was making videos or tech videos or whatever, I made that in a live stream. I made that in a talking head. We've done that through a video podcast. And I found the best performing one was when I was out I would go to the park. You even came with me.
Mm-hmm.
And we shot that video in vlog format. And so there were times where I would walk and talk, but for the most part, I would just plop it down, sit, deliver something, find a new location, sit. And it keeps it entertaining,
Sure.
And engaging. Maybe not entertaining, but engaging.
Also think about when you change locations to re-engage, like what you're talking about, like, you're at this location, you're talking about what you need to talk about, and then you change, it creates markers for people.
Really good. Yes.
So it's like little bookmarks.
Yes. And yeah, and what's funny is, like, I remember just like pre-2020 and all the craziness, there was like this wave of like cinematic vloggers, like the Peter McKinnon's Dope Squad. Like, it was just people like taking vlogging as an art form, which was beautiful. But I don't think it needs all that. Again, in content value is more important than production value. So just consider it. This is all just, the whole point of this podcast is so that you can consider how you would like to show up. If you've been posting a certain way and it's not resonating with you, switch it up. You can totally switch it up and it's going to be a-okay. Really, if you are in business, marketing is testing. If you, for a second, maybe by my tonality, sometimes you're like, dang, Omar just knows it all. Thank you for thinking that of me, but also I don't know it all. I've just tested more than you have. Like I've just tried more different things. And even in this video podcast, we've tried different things. So if something's not working, feel free to switch it up. And hey, it might crush for you. I think about like so many people that like find their stride with content, and a lot of the times there's a little uniqueness about it, just because of the way it worked for them.
Do you have any examples?
But the one that comes to mind right now is the tax guy. Like there's this tax guy that blew up during the whole stimulus check thing. And he literally has a ring light and a super wide camera, and he stands in front of a gray wall.
Okay.
Asian dude.
Yes.
It's just like, it's different, but he probably
it's so rich.
It probably allows him to just stand up and then just like make videos. And then we got Michael Zuber, who just pulled up, and he's doing it from, he has different homes, and he did it in a way where he can do it no matter what, and minimal equipment. And
then there's you.
And then there's Omar. Myron, he's had his setup. He's about to pass 1 million subscribers. He's had the same setup for a really long time. And so like, it's all just like, truly finding your voice. It's kind of like finding your voice. The way you show up with video is synonymous with how you want to communicate to the world. And so even, friends that find their stride, Abby has found her stride in a certain kind of short form, right? Just very storytelling and stuff like that. So
100.
I say all that to say, vlogging is powerful. I enjoy watching vlogs. Feel free to do vlogs. And
would golf YouTube technically be vlogs?
I would say so. There's things within the vlog that keep you, and we can do a whole episode on just golf YouTube. But yeah, the gamification, the imperfectness, like
the competition,
competition, but they're also not performing. They're just, you feel like you're a fly on the wall to a bunch of friends just golfing. And there's something even about that dynamic, but that's what vlogging does. They don't have lighting equipment. Sometimes they're wearing, mics. They got the GoPros on the carts, but for the most part, it's just like a camcorder, and they're getting so much done just from that. But there's so many reasons why it's working. But yes, I would consider YouTube golf to be a form of vlogs.
Sweet.
The next content format is talking head video. Maybe the most potentially, speaks for itself, right? Whether that's sitting at a desk, you're stationary, but this is creating stationary videos.
Feel like this past year, this one blew up a little bit.
With talking head.
With small creators. The ones that kept popping up on our homepage that are just, they have 1,000 subscribers. Yep. They're just showing up.
And they're just sitting in one place.
Yep.
Talking.
And it's raw. It's not even edited.
Yep. And yeah, a lot of these, like, I hope editing, now I do think talking head yields the most, fight for attention because nothing's changing on screen. So unless the story you're telling or the information you're telling is so compelling for me to stay, beautiful. But yeah, I think about even like a Marquez Brownlee, the biggest tech YouTuber of the world, MKBHD, like he sits and he talks to a camera, but he uses B-roll to keep you engaged. I think about Ali Abdal, just a desk setup. I think her name is Nishka. She's like a financial educator. Mm-hmm. She hit 1 million subscribers recently, just her minimal office studio setup. And so I think there's a personality type and a communication style that talking head video works well with. And I will say some pros to talking head versus vlogging and live streaming is the ability to batch record. So if you're somebody who is like, I need to film multiple videos in one sitting for this to work for me. It's hard to do that as a vlog, with vlogs. It's also hard. It's impossible to do that with live streaming. You don't want to live stream.
It's impossible with vlogs. There's.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking if you really wanted to go there, you can vlog one video, take a break and vlog another video. Yeah, okay. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's it's
because vlogging in my head is by days.
Sure.
But yeah, okay.
So yeah, that is a beautiful thing about talking head video. And having a setup is you can just sit down and then change your shirt, and then it's a different day, right? So that's one cool thing. Another cool thing about it is you can literally set it up where if you're the type of person that's I just don't want anything to change. I just want to be able to turn on the mic, turn on the light, turn on the camera, and it works. Well, if it's a stationary setup, nobody should touch it, right? And so if you're someone who just needs to get a setup going and go, then Talking Head's beautiful for that. I enjoy doing Talking Head, but I like doing it when I have something visual. And what I mean by that is just props, or I'm talking about something, we're creating content for Ulanzi now. And I don't mind sitting at a table and talking about the product while the product's in my hand.
Sure.
And that we can do it that way, or we can go to a park and make it. But it just makes it more easier for me because, it makes something interesting on screen. I think one of the most surprising talking head videos I ever made was simple and clean YouTube studio setup. I did it from my desk at my home office at the time. And I just delivered the video in one take with a second camera. And as I talked about stuff, I filmed it myself. And then I just cut to that angle. And it was a really simple way to break something down for my context of creating. But anyway, there is something about keeping something visually on screen. I actually uploaded a video once that did not get edited. And
wait, which one was that?
It's literally entitled, "Don't Edit Your Next YouTube Video."
Yeah, and it's the one where you literally took the SD card out of the camera and just uploaded it.
Yes. So you can even see me in the video. It starts like this with it starts like this, and then I come back because I just hit record on the camera. And then the reason why it works so well though is because I prepared, and I also I had visual aids. And so I think when it comes to talking head, I think there is something about whether you have sticky notes. Sometimes you just use a title screen. What's a title screen? A title screen is an image comes up, just a white screen or a black screen, and then text. And it's a cool way for you to also break up your video and put it in sections. And, you could start from each point. Like I said, I'm not a big script guy, but I think most people should have some sort of an outline. I, even for this podcast, have some sort of an outline. And another thing that you can do to keep your talking head kind of interesting is have B-roll, have supplemental footage accessible. I actually think for most people, you can actually create a database of B-roll. Especially the more you create, you'll realize oh wow, you could, there's only so much I need to do. Somebody I think about, YouTube creator, is Matt D'Avella, the minimalist guy. And Matt D'Avella made multiple million subscribers on YouTube, talking head video, and he shoots his own B-roll. And he just has an archive of B-roll because I see him reuse it as he needs to.
Right.
So you could spruce up the talking head. I just think, I think something visual on screen is helpful to keep the viewer engaged. Hey, question for you. Are you somebody who is looking to start creating content, or maybe you currently create content, but all the gear and the tech just overwhelms you? If so, I wanted to let you know about our sponsor for this podcast, Ulanzi. Whether you're creating content with your smartphone, a camera, or just trying to take your Zoom calls to the next level, Ulanzi has everything you need to make your setup look and sound professional. I've been using their gear myself, and honestly, it's been a complete game changer for my content. You can check them out at ulanzi.com/Omar, and we've got some amazing picks for you. And also, if you look at the description below, we have a special promo code that will give you 12% off your entire order. Big thanks to Ulanzi for sponsoring this episode and helping us create. The next one I want to talk about is video podcasting.
Your favorite.
My favorite. the one I have chosen to show up and build my brand with. And I want to talk a little bit about it. We have a handful of podcasts that talk about podcasting, so I don't want to get too deep. But on the content creation side of things, like getting in the place of actually creating a video podcast. But I just found that I love the conversational delivery. So even though I could probably do this talking head and I can just deliver it, send it off to an editor and they can cut it up, that's cool. But I think there's something powerful about the dynamic of a human conversation. And so even with the rise of AI, I actually feel like talking head video could be replaced with AI.
No, it can be.
Or it already kind of could be.
Yeah. Neil has showed us a video and it's scary. It's very scary.
Yeah, Sarah Dietschy, who's a tech YouTuber, she had a video that was like, it was her and it was just like AI. But even
gamers are being able to do that now.
Yeah, no, it's wild. But so this is a content format that I believe can't be AI because there's so much human. Like there's so much emotion.
That's a great point.
And all that stuff, and inflection and tone and everything, whatever, all that stuff. Now, out of all of them, I do feel like the barrier of entry on a gear standpoint could be the highest.
Definitely. Because
I mean, it could be as simple as one phone and 2 wireless mics, from Ulanzi, $50 pocket mics that I think are awesome. Or if you want to do it to like kind of this level, this probably costs, I mean, let's just call it $7,000 to $10,000, which is like that for some people that you're like, no,
a little steep.
I'll pass. But they have podcast studios in most cities, and so you can leverage that to show up. But it just, I think there is something to say about you wanting to enjoy the process of creating. Why do something that has the potential to be fulfilling, that has the potential to be a way of you having some creative freedom and creative fulfillment. So I think we all have like a void that is requiring of us to give, and it shouldn't burn you out. This is why I don't believe in creator burnout. But I do if you're self-absorbed and you're doing it for yourself, that's probably why you burnt out. It's like you lost track of what the point was. But I get fulfilled every time we upload a video. Every time I see comments and people, this is my 3rd time watching it back. Omar, you have no idea. Like, we literally were on Zoom yesterday, did a web class call. Yep. Bro said, you have changed my life and my family's life, bro. From the content to cash challenge. Shameless plug. He said, I took your challenge and I made 6 figures for the first time in my life from what you said. And now you could see, he's like, my apartment, I got a luxury apartment. My kid completely changed. We get to eat out. And it was really cool.
Yeah, it was a very wholesome moment.
But why would that burn me? That's never going to burn me out, Sure. And so I say all that to say, video podcasting is powerful. I think if you approach it the right way, and I think the big idea, if you really just want like a solid tip, if you want your video podcast to perform good, just focus on one thing per conversation. That one thing, like we focused on one thing in this conversation, and we could have went so many different ways. And in focusing on the one thing, we were able to go deeper. And this is why people like watching these over again. I don't watch talking head videos again. I don't watch vlogs over again.
Sure.
You might watch a live stream again because they're like the richness of information that was given. Or you might watch a video podcast again because you got one thing the first time and then you're running it back because there was just so much that you couldn't write down or what have you.
No, I mean, people say all the time that they watch your episodes time and time again and they're always getting something different.
Yeah. And so those are powerful ways you could show up online. There is the faceless route. Faceless is kind of building more media company type of mentality. Like there's this whole thing on YouTube automation, create a channel without your face or your voice on it and just hire people and that's cool. It's like, it is a business model, but for the people I like helping and the people that I believe that listen to the podcast or watch the podcast, you have expertise, you have experience, you have something you've enjoyed doing for a long period of time. doing faceless content isn't gonna necessarily build the brand. It'll just be in efforts to get the most views. And a lot of views doesn't equate to strong brand. Just don't make that mistake.
Sure.
So yeah, hope that's helpful. I would encourage you guys, if you have not taken, and maybe you have, the Content to Cash Challenge. This is a 5-day experience. If you've ever thought to yourself, it'd be really cool to have Omar coach me, how about 5 days of coaching with me for under $200?
Sounds like a deal to me.
All right, dude, shake on it, bro. I'm just kidding. Put a link in the description.
Hey, if you want to see Omar's day in the life, we can film one, you know. If you want to see Omar on the golf course, we'll film one.
I would say that's me on Instagram.
Mm-mm.
So like you could
I'm
find
saying
the
on
BTS.
YouTube.
No, I'm not uploading it to this channel.
We're going to upload a vlog.
No, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Happy New Year, Merry